All right. Okay. So today, we're going to go over a number of things that we're doing both for the state fair, the international fair, and for the regional fair, and why the regional fair is going the route that they are. But our focus this year is kind of trying to reconnect everybody. So that's kind of our theme is reconnecting our scientific minds that we've missed so much. The teachers being together as well as our students. So tonight, general introductions. We'll talk about the ISIP plans, the state fair plans, and then the Alamo regional events. And the director has some notes, and then we'll do some question and answer for anyone that has any questions on what we're going over. So first off, I'm Lane Smiley. Y'all don't know me. I'm kind of the ARASE board president, and then we have Ms. Rose. Everybody knows that. She's our fair director. And so that's who's joining us tonight with the ARASE organization, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so International Science Fair is the Super Bowl, right? That's where we all want our kids to advance to, and then those are the ones that make the rules that all the regions that affiliate with ISIP has to follow. So because of that, ISIP is going to go to a hybrid type of fair where kids that can travel to Atlanta, Georgia, will be able to participate in an in-person event. But because of international rules and COVID and being able to travel and those that can't travel, there will be a virtual way of attending the fair. So with that in mind, that's where things are coming from, right? So the 2022 Raytheon International Science Fair will take place in Atlanta, Georgia on May 18th through the 13th. ISIP will be a hybrid event, and so there will be, for grand prizes and the special awards, there will be both an in-person component and also a virtual fair component. Okay. With that, the state put together their plan. So the state has said that everybody in the region that advances the state must register by March 1st. They will have a virtual round one, which will be asynchronous, that will take place March 4th through the 10th. Students who then advance out of round 1 will be notified to advance to round 2 on March 18th. Round 2 and 3, which are the top rounds, will be in person March 25th and 26th. And students, though, that make it to state are all invited to attend the state fair. Okay. So what that means is that even though students that don't bring their board and don't participate in round 2 or 3, they still can come up to Texas State as part of the school team. And if anybody's gone to the state fair previous years, you know how they have a big event, and all those events, all of the kids that actually make it to state can participate in those events. And they will be encouraged to actually go to a public seeing of the kids that present at round 2 and 3.
Now, those students that did not make it to round 2 and 3, but the teachers would like to take them, you can take them as observers in case, at the school they say, well, they didn't make it for those rounds, so where are they going? Well, you can say that they're going as observers, that the state fair is allowing observers so that they too can learn and see some of the projects. So it will be a learning trip for them.
Not only that they're observers, but they still are state finalists. They just didn't advance to the final rounds. And they still, as state finalists, can participate in all the other events that are going on with the state fair. They just won't have their board and won't be presenting to judges. So with that in mind is how we then are thinking about how ARASE is going to proceed. So just so you know what is going to be expected of the, well, let me go back one slide, one real quick. So round one is virtual judging, but again, it's going to be like it was last year. It's going to be asynchronous. The judges aren't going to be live. The kids aren't going to present to judges. It's going to be a video and their paper and their digital board and things like that, okay? And the only time that they'll interact with the judge is during either round 2 or round 3, okay? So what they're going, every state finalist is going to have to produce is a digital project board, similar to the one that we did last year and we did in the, for the region, as well as an overview video, okay? So again, with these requirements in mind, we then start thinking about what are we going to do with Alamo Region. So Alamo Regional plans. We're going full ahead. We're going to do all events that we've done in the past. It's just we're going to go hybrid. We're going to have some things that are virtual, some things that are going to be in person. So to start off, our workshop seminar that we do for everybody to kind of hear the rules, go to how to start a project, and for students and teachers, that will be a full virtual process. We'll do like a Zoom meeting or something like that. We haven't worked out the details exactly on that. The next thing will be AJAS, which is our Junior Academy of Sciences. We will do our Junior Academy of Sciences, but it will be a full virtual. It will be exactly like we did last year with Rocket Judge and all of that. What's going to be really different is the regional fair, the actual science fair. We're going to go to a hybrid model.
Can't hear you.
We are going to go to a hybrid model where we will have both a virtual part and a in-person part. And we'll get into that in a few minutes on how that's going to look and how it's going to work out. Now, of course, this all is contingent on how local guidelines and St. Mary guidelines all are at the time of the fair. If something comes up and we can't do it, then we will have a contingency of a full virtual fair. So the workshop seminar, go ahead and save the date. It's going to be October 16th. It's a Saturday. We're still working out the times and the structure of the event, but it will be on October 16th. It will be a virtual event, and we will have breakout groups for the students to look and work on their projects or ideas about projects, as well as talk to previous finalists and runners-up, people that have participated in the fair, so they have an idea, as well as teachers will be able to go and see the upcoming updates for SRC and all those rules as well. Okay, so that's the 16th. So real important dates that we're going to go over, so you can kind of get these in, is that registration will open November 1st. So we're opening up a month earlier so we can get our registration started. So November 1st, registration will start. Registration for the fair will close on Friday, January 14th. That's on that day. All payment is due on January 26th. Scienteer, all Scienteer need to be finalized and submitted up to the regional fair on January 24th. And then for us, our uploads of all digital files for AJAS will be on January 14th. And for the fair will be on February 4th. Okay? And that's the digital boards, the presentations, the papers. And we're going to have an upload for y'all to be able to do. A couple of things that I want to point out to y'all is number one, our fair closing date. Registration is going to have to close so that we can prepare on our end. So we need to make sure that we are paying close attention. And one of the things I need to stress to teachers and to sponsors is that what you put into the digital registration, who you digitally register, is who we prepare on having, and we start preparing for reservation and rooms and size based on the number that is in there. That then relates to how much we have to pay as ARASE. And so having this payment due date is important that we get our stuff in. And I'll tell you why it's important is that ARASE is a completely voluntary program. We get, we go out for funding as much as we can, but we have, we go and we depend upon our registration fees to be able to pay for the venues and things like that. And because of this year, us having to prepare and have on reservation the ability to go completely virtual, that incurs more costs. So we have to have our in-person stuff ready and our virtual stuff ready at the same time, just in case. So the other things that I need for teachers and sponsors to be very aware of are these two upload dates. Because of the virtual nature, we have to, on our back end, upload and make sure everything's right. And if we're not paying attention and chasing students down at the last minute, it becomes really hard to make sure that everything's ready for judging virtually if we don't have our digital uploads in on time. So those, we really want to pay close attention to those dates. Okay, so let's get down into the nitty gritty, right? So again, the Junior Academy of Sciences will be a full virtual event. We are planning right now on using Rocket Judge. So if y'all used it, you're with us last year and you did AJAS or did the fair, it is the same system. We'll be using that same system. We're hoping, I'll talk about that when we get to the fair. But so the AJAS dates are going to be the 22nd and 23rd. Those will be the days of interviews that will be live with the judges. And this is where ARASE is going to be very different from the state, is that all students, no matter where they're going to or coming from, and no matter what round or whatever event they're in, they will have an interview with live judges. We feel that that interaction with judges and students is very important, and we are trying to our best to maintain instead of having, we can have kids that have been coached very well and they can make a very good video, but once they present live, it's not the same thing, and be able to answer questions on the fly. We believe that that interaction and learning how to interact with judges that way is very important. And so that's the reason for us to continue with the Rocket Judge and have that interaction. So we will be doing live interviews for AJAS on the 22nd and the 23rd. We will have the Blue Ribbon come back and interview again with the Blue Ribbon judges for the grand prizes within AJAS, just like we did last year. I think that the teachers, we heard a lot from them, from our teachers last year. They like the idea. Our students enjoyed the idea of actually being able to present to both their category judges and the blue ribbon judges. And our blue ribbon judges actually enjoyed having to actually meet with the students and listen to their presentations, other than just reading their papers like we've done in the past. So important dates again, we're going to upload all of the digital stuff by January 14th. All that'll come out as links. So look for those. First round, and we will then, after that, after the 14th, we will be sending out the interview links for the students and the times of their interviews. So it'll go out to the student and the teachers. So if y'all can make sure to be able to look out for that, so that we can make sure that our kids are in place when they. First round of judging, again, it's going to be the 21st and 23rd. Blue ribbon judging will happen on the 23rd. So last year, we were able to do all the first round of judging on one day, and on the very first day of the event. If that's the case, we may do all first round judging on one day and just blue ribbon judging on the second day. So that's our goal. But if we have a lot of students participating in the fair or in AJAS, we may have to push back and have another, some first round judging on the 23rd as well. For the Junior Academy, we will release a video for the award ceremony, just so that we know that that's the way that it'll come out. It'll come out on our YouTube channel, just like we did last year. All students will get an email with the link. All teachers will get an email with the link, and we'll post it on our website. So what will we do? So I'm sorry, I said this is as the 14th or 15th, so this should say the 14th. I'm sorry. So I have on the 14th, what is due will be their paper, their research paper, and then it can be a Google Doc, it can be a Word document. I've had kids submit it as a PowerPoint. Why? But it should be a research paper. But any kind of format that is submitted will be accepted as their paper. Their presentation really is going to either be a Google Slides or a PowerPoint, and that will be also submitted ahead of time. We will do, again, I think this year we will do the headshot of students as well, so that the judge knows who should be judging at the time, so they'll have a picture of the student and the student that is there, so that they can kind of compare to make sure that everybody's who they say they are. Kids will be judged on their oral presentation and their written presentations. So half of your scoring comes from judging, your oral presentation, and the other half comes from your written presentation. And that's nothing that's always been the same as it has been in the past. The difference is this year, like last year, we will have oral presentations to the blue ribbon. Okay. I know I've gone over a lot. If you have any questions, shoot them in the chat or just shout them out, and I will be happy to answer. So for the regional fair, so we are reserving St. Mary's, but there's going to be a limit on how many people we can bring in. So this is kind of our envision of what we're going to do. So we are going to do a round one. Then after round one judging, the top projects will advance to round two. Round two will be in person. If we have, if all the conditions are good and we're able to, by CDC, local guidelines, and St. Mary's, then we will have our in-person at St. Mary's as a round two. And then from round two, those kids' top projects then will advance to blue ribbon which will be distinguishing between our brands in each fair. To kind of give you an idea of why what we're doing is in a normal fair year, we range between 500 and 600 projects. Okay, a lot of kids, a lot of judges, and you add that, you have the teachers, and then you have the judges all combined in there. We want to kind of reduce the number of students and judges that we have in a live event. So if we were to take that, that would normally in round two go to about 150 to 200 projects. So we want to cut that number in half and be able to spread out in the arena and the basketball area that we use, and have more space between students and judges, so we have more space. Of course, once we go from the blue ribbon judges, that can be between 40 and 60 projects that go up to the blue ribbon, depending on ties, depending on how many subcategories we have that go up to the next level. So the idea is to kind of reduce the number of kids that are all in one place, reduce the number of judges, and so we have more space for the kids that come. The difference, and I'll want to go ahead and reiterate, is that round one, unlike the state fair, we will allow kids to put in a video, but it won't be required. They can put in an overall video, just like we did last year. But it's not what they're going to be judged on. They're going to be judged on them presenting to the judge. So the judges at regional in round one every kid will get that interaction with the judge. I firmly believe that. We will do it just like we did last year with the judge, and that will take place. We will be doing that. And so that is very different from the state fair, where round one judging is completely asynchronous, video, and that's it. So we want to, we want to be able to find those kids that shine when they are able to speak in front of a judge and answer questions, and have those be able to highlight those kids. And every kid, I think, learns a lot from that interaction with those professionals. So just so you know, what we're going to be looking at, again, the fair, we're going to have those 2 rounds, and there's going to be a week between them. So the presentation boards will all be due February 1st. The first round of judging will be on February 6th. Notifications, if you advance to the next level, will be February 8th. Oh, I'm sorry, this should say round 2 judging. Another error. Sorry. The round 2 judging will then take place from, excuse me, this is true. Round 1 judging will take place from, let me rephrase all this because I just messed all this up. I'm not even, okay, so everything is due February 4th. Display and safety, where we go over and check to make sure the boards are okay, make sure everything is in place and right, is going to be on February 6th. Notification of time when they will be notified, or when their first interview will be on February 8th. First round interviews will go February 11th through the 13th. So that weekend. Once on February 13th, we will know who is advancing. We will let the student, parents, and teacher know of all the students that will advance to the second and third round. Second and third round will be the second round, and the blue ribbon round will be at St. Mary's in person from February 18th to the 20th. Now they're going to be the days in here. This will be just like the fair has always been. You come in, set up your board. One day, we do setup, we do display and safety. Then after that, the next day will be morning, will be judging, and then the afternoon will be blue ribbon judging. So it'll be just like the fair has operated in the past. All this will be the same. Okay. The only thing is that if conditions where we cannot be in person, then this will all change to a virtual setting. But the dates will remain the same. We will go for the first round, going through the 11th to the 13th, and then the second and third round on the weekend of the 18th to the 20th. Okay, so now, Ms. Rose, you got some notes that you wanted to share with me.
Thank you very much for attending our meeting. We wish we had in-person meetings, but we're doing the best that we can. This is just a very brief overview of the things that we're about to do. And October 16, we will provide more details. And of course, you can always call us and we will explain things a little more. What's important is for you to fill out your contact card. We have yours from the years past, but I always like to keep a current one. So please do fill out that card as soon as possible. And let me have a cell number. And the reason for that number is that sometimes as we are reviewing papers, we need to have a student correct something and we cannot reach the student. So we try to contact you. And this can happen after school hours or on the weekend. So please do give me the school number and also your cell number. And do start Scienteer as soon as possible. I've been checking and there are several schools that already activated their account for this season. And try to do it as soon as possible because as time flies, then you'll find yourself under pressure and it's a lot harder at the last minute. And also make sure that you're setting up your SRC IRB. And new schools need to contact me also to receive their Scienteer link. So if your school is participating for the first time with Scienteer, you need to contact me and I will give you the link for your school. And this is different from the link and the codes for registration. You must use the same username and password as you did last year or in previous years. And this also applies to anyone that you're going to have on Scienteer. If it's a mentor or your SRC or your teachers or the students or the parents, whoever is going to be on Scienteer and used it last year, you have to use the same codes as last year. The next slide, Blaine.
Okay, I just wanted to mention one thing is that in the chat, I did put the link to the Google form for the contact card. And also all the presentation boards and everything, you go to the fair page on our website, you can download the template for the digital poster board. And with that, any resources that you need for our program or for what's going on, when you go to our website and you go to the page for the fair, you'll see this. And this, we've already updated all the dates. And right here where it says click here for digital poster board file for Google Slides or PowerPoint, you click there and it'll download it for you. But other resources for everything that you need to know or want to know about the fair is under here, under resources. Click there, and that opens up an actual folder where all of our documents are there that you will be updating any information or any description of anything that goes on for ARASE.
I will also be emailing you and giving you the titles of the documents that you should be already reviewing or with your students. But if you have questions on any of these documents, by all means, email me, text me, or give me a call. Now, again, make sure that the students start their Scienteer account. Do not wait until the last minute after they've been selected to advance to ARASE. What happens is that students do their, their protocol, their research plan. They have the fair at their school. They're selected to advance to our fair, and then they start Scienteer. Scienteer is to be worked on before the students start experimentation. And the reason for that is so that the students can get their projects reviewed by your SRC and your IRB. Now, once you select the students to advance to our fair, all you have to do is select the ones that you want on your dashboard and then advance them to us. What happens is a lot of the questions on Scienteer that are on the questionnaire or the survey are questions that the students are to answer in the future tense. But what happens is, since they already did their project and now they're going to start Scienteer, they answer the questions in the past tense. And so then we kick back those projects. So make sure that they are reading those questions and answer in the same tense that the question is asking. So as I said earlier, everyone who used Scienteer last year used the same username and password. If a student is now in the 9th grade in high school, that student needs to be given the username and password that they used before. If the students have forgotten what they used last year, there is a way to find out what that password was. Now, to register for our fair, you need to go to our website, go to that dashboard, and click where it says Alamo Regional Science Fair, and then click on that panel that says to register. You need to use a school code, and that is different from Scienteer. Most of you know your school code because you've been using it for several years. But if you forgot it, I will most gladly give it to you. And if you're a new school, then I will also give you a code. Now this is different from the Scienteer codes. What you need to do once you get on Scienteer, on the left-hand side of the homepage, there is a menu and there is a link that says help. And if you click on that, it will take you to guidelines. Make sure you read the guidelines very carefully, especially if the students are working with vertebrate animals human subjects and potentially hazardous biological agents such as bacteria or fungi. But read the documents that I sent you. I sent you 3 attachments. Read them very carefully. But I need to repeat again, students cannot culture bacteria at home. The same day that they collect bacteria samples from the environment, they're to take that sample immediately to their school lab or whatever lab they're working on. But they cannot take that sample home overnight and then take it to school, because now that sample is being cultured at home, and that's um, grounds for disqualifying the project. The other thing I want to emphasize here is I noticed that the timelines are very, very short. Reason is that the students that advance to the state fair have to register by March the 1st. So what does that mean? That means that I have to advance those students to the state fair, just like you advance them to our fair. I need to advance them to the state fair. And once I advance them to the state fair, then the students can register. So there is no way that I advance them on March the 1st or the last day of, of February, that the students will have time, or you will have time to register the students for the state fair. But I will be reminding you more than once, more than twice, 3 times or more. If you have any questions, by all means, do ask.
So, I do want to, there's one bright note about the state fair that was kind of difficult for us this past year, is last year they limited how many kids we could promote to the state fair. And they actually cut our number of middle school kids almost in half of what we could actually promote out to the state fair last year. This year, they're back up. We have what now, 62 in each, right? Is that correct, Rose?
Are you talking to me, Blaine?
Yes, ma'am. The amount of kids that we can promote or send to state fair is back up to 60 funded, correct?
Yes, 62.
For high school and middle school.
Yes.
And that's brought up how many kids that's why there's so many kids that we weren't able to send last year to the state fair in middle school. Now we'll be able to advance it to the state finals. They've given us more.
And it's going to be the sooner your students are on Scienteer and you advance them to us, our SRC will start reviewing. And as soon as we find something needs to be resubmitted, we send the project back to the student and to you. And so we need that project to be revised or corrected or add something that was missing immediately so that we can approve the project. One more thing that's extremely important. When you get ready to advance the students, make sure you have everyone that you're considering to advance. Then you're going to go to the next panel on Scienteer and you're going to finalize. You cannot finalize one project at a time. If you are advancing 6 students, then all 6 need to be finalized at the same time. Because the minute you finalize, the system will shut down. I cannot open it. So keep that in mind. Advance your students, look over the list, review it, make sure you have everyone that's advancing, and then the next step would be finalized. I will be going over all of this. I know this is a lot for you right now, especially those who have not done this before, but it will be easy. I will be guiding you and walking you through the whole thing. And on October 16, we will cover some of these things a little bit more in detail. And then, of course, uh, if you need any other assistance, we'll be more than happy to help you.
Okay. So if anybody has any questions or comments, need some explanation on something, we are here to answer questions. If you feel like you already have enough of information overload right now and you kind of want to sit on it for a little while and come up with questions, we're more than happy to leave. We're good. So we really wanted to give you all some of the information ahead of time so that you feel like you can plan for the year out instead of waiting until we start getting into September and October.
I'd like to mention one thing for the middle school teachers. Besides selecting certain projects that advance to the Regenerate International Science and Engineering Fair that is sponsored by the Society for Science, they also have the Broadcom Masters program, where we will select the top 10% students, middle school students, and they will be given an application as a nominee. And we are very, very fortunate that out of 1,800 and something students that were nominated for Broadcom Masters throughout the nation, 300 were selected as semifinalists. And every year we have a few, mind you, that get selected. And this year, Texas had 5 finalists. Of the 300, they select 30 finalists. Texas had 5 finalists. And we ended up with 3 finalists. How about that? We had one is from the fair in Waco, and 2 are from our fair. One student is from St. Matthew's Catholic School, and the other student is from Bradley Middle School. So we are just so proud. And if it weren't for COVID, these students would be going to Washington, D.C. for a week, all expenses paid for the student and the parent. And these students would be working in teams, competing. They would be going to the Capitol. They will be touring, but mainly they would be meeting a lot of very famous scientists and Nobel laureates. But nevertheless, we are still very happy, very proud, and we hope to have more finalists for next year. Are there any questions?
Great. So again, if you are good and you're happy and you're okay, or you just want to simmer a little bit with some questions, you're more than happy to go ahead and log off. And we're so glad that you came. And we will, again, I will be sharing out this recording to all the teachers the same way you got this email. I'm going to send it out to every email, as well as I will post it to our YouTube channel.
I would like to know, those of you that are here, what schools are you representing? I recognize some of you, but I think some of you are new. Can you let me know? Sherry, you're with the San Antonio Independent School District, and you're representing the gifted and talented programs, correct?
Yes, gifted and talented. I'm trying to push Advanced Learning Academy, middle school and high school to enter.
Wonderful. And Deborah, I'm so glad to see you. You're still at Harris?
I'm still at Harris, yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. And Mr. Anderson, what school are you from?
Yes, yeah, I'm sorry, I came on a little late. Yeah, SST, Northwest School of Science and Technology, Northwest. So I came on a little late, but it seems really awesome.